I'm your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Well, tonight we're going to talk about on the live stream about the different realities that we deal with in today's world. How things are viewed differently from different sides, and everybody's reality don't seem to be in the same place. So we're going to talk about that. Anyway, crazy times, people, crazy times. But if you want to fast forward about 4 minutes, if you're watching the replay, I got to wait for some people to show up. So we'll just uh, discuss some simple things that are going on and stuff to pass the time so YouTube can get the notifications out. This is usually the time I start like ragging on YouTube because you know, a lot of the reasons we have the problems we have is because nobody wants to hear the truth. And the people that want to speak the truth, well, they're shut up. Their opinions are shut up if it goes against the narrative. And, it's just leading to bad things. That's why we have alternate realities now in today's world, where you got news agencies, two different sides, right? Giving two different stories of the same situation. And all of a sudden, people have two different views of reality. But anyway, when it comes to the time when they get to silence all of us, us content creators who go against the narratives, we know what it's like dealing with AI censorship and shadow banning and just flat out being silenced. And when the rest of the world gets to deal with it, because eventually you're going to believe in a way that the elites or the people in charge don't like, and you'll be subject to, the stuff you hoorah'd that happened to your enemies. Well, eventually that'll happen to you one day too. Freedom of speech is very important. Everybody should have their opinions to be able to be heard, no matter how whacked out you are. A person should be allowed to make their own judgment on what they hear. If you got a good education and you can reason and, understand the way the world should work and stuff, it shouldn't be too hard to tell if somebody's a kook or if somebody's not. But then again, like I say, I think the pharmaceutical companies and all the medication these people are on have a lot to do with the issues that are going on in today's world. Because to me, it looks like people have gone insane. Flat out insane. Some people have flat out gone insane, and you can't tell them nothing. And I'm talking on the left and the right, both sides. Hi, my name is Caesar, and I love your videos. Well, I appreciate it. Like I say, I ruffle feathers when it comes to YouTube. The thing is, we got a world of hurt coming down to this whole planet. Not just to this country or to Germany or to Russia or China. This whole world is going to have a hurt put on it. And that's why they want to silence anybody that tries to expose it. Or maybe a conspiracy theory, if they want to call it that. But like I say, with the price of silver and gold the way it is, and countries spending money hand over fist on their militaries. Dixon, hey, hi, Dixon. I appreciate everybody being here. I tell you what, hit that thumbs up, that subscribe, and the bell notification if you like the content. By the way, let's get into the alternate realities that we're dealing with. Okay, and I'm going to go first to Minnesota. First, what this was is Preddy or whatever. I think that was his name, the last guy that got shot by Border Patrol agents. Okay, I'm not going to defend the actions or cut down the actions of the Border Patrol or not like that, okay? I'm not stupid enough to go up against cops like that, against something that they're just trying to enforce the law. But anyway, we have to deal with two different realities, two different stories that are being told. I mean, there's video of this man days before, getting tackled because he's kicking out the taillights of an ICE vehicle and stuff. And, the thing is, Adam, with his his vision of reality that Border Patrol and ICE Patrol people really aren't cops and really can't act like cops. He dealt with this reality and kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Get away with it, kept pushing, came back for more, until finally he became so unruly that he paid the consequences for whatever he thought the reality was. Us that live in normal reality, we know you don't sit when the cops are doing their job, especially when our government's finally enforcing the law. Don't get in the middle of them. But anyway, and then to bring attention to yourself and have a gun on you and wrestle with cops, okay? Bad stuff, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But anyway, the reality that we're supposed to look at, like this guy was some saint, the best man, the typical model American, somebody you want your daughter to date. I mean, the pictures they released of him too, they even enhanced them to make him a little bit darker like me, a complexion like me, made his face thicker like me, to make him look like the skinny little wimp he was. They photoshopped his freaking image. Everything's trying to make it into their reality. The news should be a reality show that people used to watch back in the 2000s. That's not what the news should be. The news should be reporting on the facts. The facts is this guy was at several protests, had instances where he, instigated contact with Border Patrol and stuff and INS, and he finally got so brazen. I mean, this guy was going to push it until he was either arrested or shot. Okay, his reality was he didn't care. It's not like it was the first time he was there. And then they sit there, you got two sides of the news. One, you hear the truth, and one, you hear opinion and how they feel about it. All I know is if you got to Photoshop the guy's picture before you put it on the news, obviously you're trying to dress him up into something he wasn't, just with the picture. I mean, look at the picture of the real picture and the picture the news put out on. The real picture, he's got a skinny face, he's white as a ghost, basically a beta male. And then they sit there and photoshopped it to have it, color like me, like a working man with the, muscular face, like he's got a body and shit, some masculine alpha. I mean, this is what they did just with a photograph. And then the lie about him. Oh, he was a nurse. And this is one thing about the alternate reality of these people. This country has laws. We have immigration laws. And, when they come to enforce them, thank God, you just step aside. But for some reason, these people in their reality, they live in that American are living so great now, and our taxpayers have so much extra money that we need to make sure that the American taxpayer makes it so every person in the world can live like us. That's our responsibility. I mean, really? Who lives in that type of reality? But then again, these people have issues with reality because a lot of these people, frankly, have mental issues, take medication, believe men can get pregnant. That's another reality. I mean, if I'm trying to have a discussion with somebody, let's say about the human body, the human reproductive system, and this person comes up and says, well, I believe men can have babies. I mean, where do you even start? Where would you even start? And these doctors that won't answer the simple question, can men have babies? Like when that one was getting grilled in D.C. the last week or whatever. I mean, if a doctor's that stupid, number one, don't go to him ever. And ask him, hey, which one of your parents bore you? Like I say, if you think men can get pregnant in your reality, show me the evidence. Just one male, besides an earthworm, asexual animals. This is ridiculous, okay? But I guess they can identify as an asexual animal, right? This is the alternate reality people live in, okay? Like that lady in Minneapolis who picked up that flashbang and it went off in her hand because they don't live in reality. They put their hand on a hot stove because in their reality, their hand's not going to burn. Where do you go with people like that are adults? That we all learned these lessons when we were, I knew when I was a little kid, lighting off fireworks. You didn't light them off in your hand. You love illegal immigrants? Well, invite some into your home then, sir. If you love them so much, I'm not paying for them. Go and sponsor about 10 of them. Become completely responsible for them. Move them into your house. Yeah, let's see how much you love illegal immigrants. Okay? But see that you at least said the right word. Illegal. Illegal. I do compliment you for that. I hate Haitians. Chris loves his criminal aliens. What law can I break? I mean, if you got to choose, since these illegals are allowed to come here, and now Holman, since this shooting, wants to sit there and say, well, we're not going to arrest the illegals unless they broke into crime. If their only crime is crossing our border illegal, they're fine, right? Okay, Tom Holman, President Trump, wimping the fuck out. And eventually, like I say, if the government don't want to do it, the American people are going to do it, okay? But if we're going to live under that system where we can choose what law we want to break, if we can only break one, you know which one I'm going to break? I'm not going to pay my taxes because I'm not going to support the shit. Since we're allowed to break laws now in this country, since that's okay, and illegals are going to have constitutional rights and have protection under the Constitution, which is totally against the way the Constitution is set up. But since that's okay, what's good for the gander is good for the goose, right? So I guess I don't have to pay my taxes. Thanks, Trump. Appreciate it. But see, that's a reality that doesn't even make sense. But anyway, support your illegals, like I say. Bring them home. Take care of them. Make sure they get to watch a football game. Make sure they always got there. And make sure you celebrate their holidays too. Okay? And make sure you listen to them tell you you're a piece of shit American. Crazy times, crazy times. But, all these alternate realities we got to deal with all the time. I mean, like I said, there is a mental illness going on in today's world. People, when I was growing up, if we would have acted like this, we would have got immediately corrected, punished, okay? But we never even thought of acting this weird, even as kids. And now this behavior is accepted, encouraged. These alternate realities with just a sexualization in this country. The more different you are, the more you have to be accepted. I mean, to where, you're allowed to change what kind of animal you are. Oh, I'm not a human today. I'm a kitty cat. I need a litter box in my classroom. This is the crazy shit we're dealing with. I mean, how does a teacher in school teach health class if they're not allowed to offend anybody, and you got somebody in there that thinks they're a furry and somebody else who thinks they're transgender? How do you teach health class? I mean, that seems a little hard to do. I mean, they go home and cry, and my teacher said I was a human being. And then all of a sudden that teacher gets fired. This is a crazy world we live in. Let's go to another uh, reality, alternate reality that caused fiery but mostly peaceful protest about the George Floyd. I mean, during George Floyd's trial, they weren't even allowed to bring up his past. Nothing he done in the past was allowed to be brought up in his trial. But I don't believe Derek Chauvin was a good cop. I believe he was a bully and an asshole. But I don't believe he killed George Floyd. But everything about Derek Chauvin's past, no matter if it was made up or anything, was brought to trial. So we'll just hide the truth that this idiot was in the store trying to pass counterfeit bills. That's why they called the cops, and acting like he was on drugs, trying to do drug deals in the store with enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse. But let's excuse all that. And he had his knee on his shoulder. The thing is, you don't want to die in the cop's arms. Stop fighting. Okay? Just lay there. Okay, I give up. Like that idiot Adam, last guy who got shot in Minneapolis. Okay, you got a gun on you, acting like an asshole, becoming the center of attention on purpose, and then you're getting takedown, and you just don't give up. But their reality, whatever, just like that woman that tried running that ICE agent over, hit him with the car, popped him. And we had to sit there and watch all these videos of this, that, and the other thing. No, this is the thing. They told you to leave, you didn't leave, so they told you to get the fuck out of your car. You were getting arrested. And then your wife, see, another sick reality shit, said, "Go, baby, go." And we're supposed to believe that she's the victim of her own stupidity, of her own ignorance, of her own reality. The reality she was taught by this sick woman that, all I got to say is, you wives that leave your husbands, and you have families for your lesbian relationships. Let's see you when you're 60. And your ex-husband's happy with a wife, and your kids don't talk to you no more. But whatever. Stuff I can't believe. But we're supposed to believe the other reality of that. I mean, she took her kids to school and got lost on the way back and just got confused and stuff. Who actually fucking believes that? Somebody who takes too much medication because they have a mental illness, because they live in an alternate reality. That's who would believe that. And that's who does believe that. Rage Bader and cool story, bro. But can you slap bass? Slap bass. Oh, I came from Minnesota, I'll tell you what. Not much better than Minnesota fishing, except Canadian fishing, I guess. But I appreciate everybody being here. Like I say, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Anything to help the channel grow. Because, I like rubbing YouTube the wrong way. I love having a YouTube channel where I can tell politicians, elites, and even if the Rothschilds watch me, hey, you're a fucking idiot. What are you going to do about it? I stood up for myself long before I went in the Marine Corps, and let's just say that amplified it even more. And I don't fear no fucking beta males. That's all that our government consists of. Like I say, that Adam Preti or whatever, they photoshopped his picture from him actually what he looked like, a beta male liberal retard, and turned him into a masculine looking alpha male. Boy, I just like this platform. They want us creators to use AI. Why would I use AI when I got reality? What am I going to use AI for? Explain to me how I can use AI, use my image and stuff to create AI videos that are going to be more from the heart than me face to face with you. Why would I hide behind AI? Hide behind an avatar of me? That's crazy time. I already have a bad enough time with people saying from my shorts, thought of the day, all my shorts and stuff, oh, you're AI, you're AI. Whatever. Nope, not even close. All I know is if I am AI, I would definitely like to not exist in today's reality. Is this AI? Is this AI? Is this Memorex? Or is this real? Old school. Well, I don't understand to me, it'd be like watching fantasy. It'd be me being lazy. Me creating an AI program with my image, saying what I want to say, but in a more, AI doing it. AI could do that. Image of me, sound like me, but that's laziness. Okay? If you meet me on the street, you'll be like, hey, okay? It won't be you're discussing something that the AI created and stuff. And I don't believe in all the fake shit, okay? We always have the saying, seeing is believing. Okay, what happens when you can't believe what you're seeing anymore? What happens then? You can't believe what you hear and you can't believe what you see. But that's why all this AI stuff, you can tell on social media platforms, I can AI generated stuff. I mean, a lot of it has to do with negativity or violence. Have you ever noticed that? Something to do with a negative message it brings across or a violent act happening. All right. That's what the AI algorithm, because it's got people figured out. They like watching slop that deals with death and destruction and hate and discontent and chaos. The AI algorithms figured that out. So the Indians are using it big time to sit there and create all these shorts that are absolutely ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. Whatever. The thing is, right, if I get accused of being AI by YouTube, right, and they can't tell I'm real, and they can't tell AI is AI, what good is the algorithm? How can a computer AI algorithm not know that something is AI? There's got to be some computer signature on it in the programming somewhere that a computer would recognize. Anyway, and the difference between real and not real. But like I say, we live in a world where we're seeing's not even believing anymore, and these people are on medications because they got mental illness. Well, you know what kind of reality they can shove in their face and they'll believe because they have no ability to comprehend, no ability to understand how evil people can be when they want to deceive somebody else. We're going to have more than fiery, but mostly peaceful protests. It's going to be a bad time, folks. But I know, it's not like everybody looks at a situation and it comes up to a common consensus. Okay? But when you refuse to look at all the facts and only going to look at the facts that may push your narrative or push the way you feel or whatever. Yeah, he may have been doing something wrong, but it was really bad what happened to him. So we just got to burn the neighborhood down. Anyway, I'm just watching all this and I'm not stupid. And I don't know what it takes to fall for this stuff. But there's definitely something going on behind the scenes. People, I have said for a while that I feel Homo sapien is separating into two species. One like the retards in Minnesota, and the other one, the more intelligent one. Maybe, the other species would go the way of the Neanderthal. I don't know. But they can't take care of themselves. They're totally dependent on expect and depend on their neighbor to take care of them. They're anybody who's willing to stand on a hill and die on the hill of protecting illegal aliens in this country for their right to stay here, and that's the hill they're going to die on, okay, that's mental illness. I mean, so many other things that we need to be mad at our government for. And they want to be mad at them because they're doing their job finally. But something has happened since I was a kid. Since the 90s, since the 2000s. Something's happened inside the human brain to where we're losing our humanity. Not with just the wars and hating our neighbors and celebrating Charlie Kirk's death or celebrating people dying and stuff. But we're losing what it's like to be human. Humans have existed on the top of the totem pole for so long. And now we're willing to give up that position to AI and go right underneath AI because we'll control AI. Or we'll both be at the top of the totem pole, but we'll have control. Anybody believe that for a second? This alternate reality we live in. That was one thing when we were kids. We knew fantasy from reality. And if we started living any crazy thought we were living a fantasy, our parents would slap us back into reality. Imaginations were used to better your life, make your, inventors have a very vivid imagination. That's why they can invent stuff, all right? But now people's are allowed to live their fantasy out as reality, and everybody else who lives in reality has to accept their reality and not, whatever. When I sat there on Juneteenth and they were having their demonstration and the one said, we believe in, what it says, we believe in morality over reality. So basically he's saying is, I know there's a reality out there, but because of my morality, I'm going to create my own reality. It's the craziest statement I ever heard, and they probably thought they were being so smart about it. Just admitting that he lives in an alternate reality with his lifestyle and the way he believes. And some of us just can't swallow that much Kool-Aid. I realize we're living in the twilight zone these days. I realize if you get on social media or in a crowd of people or anything, you try to sit there and talk reality and the truth to people, they don't want to hear it. Either on both sides, they don't want to hear it. They don't want nobody interfering with the way they interpret the way life is going. Especially if, like these people that are market analysts and stuff, and they're making it sound like this gold and silver and all the precious metals, copper, platinum, are all going up, right? Like it's a market correction. It's just going to go away one day back to where it was. They're not living in reality. Okay? But the common man can see it. Anyway. What do you do in today's world? Like I say, just get in a position where you can react. We got a world of hurt coming down. We got World War III coming. That's going to be the reality. We're going to have bombs falling on United States cities. That's the reality we have to face. The reality that our dollar isn't going to be worth shit here real soon. Okay? That's the reality we're going to have to face. But the nice thing about the dollar being worthless, everybody, there is good things to that. It's going to solve a few problems. There will be no more welfare system. Okay? That means and our dollar will be worthless. All the illegals in this country, when that happens, when our dollar collapses, will be out of this country in a week. Guaranteed. Because welfare's gone and the dollar's worthless. Take care of the illegals. And what's another problem it's going to take care of? You ain't going to get no more spam calls. Because when nobody wants a dollar anymore, they're definitely going to try to scam you when you have nothing to give them. Okay? So all that will go away too. But that's what's coming with that. You know, we got civil war brewing. Whatever government, both, you know, another reality we deal with. Do we got a democratic republic? Do we got a Republican republic? I mean, a Democrat democracy, a Republican democracy, or do we got a constitutional republic? Of course, the answer is constitutional republic. But in the reality of today's world, depending on who's in power, we have two different democracies, two different realities. You know, I'm never voting again. You know, until a politician understands what kind of government we have, until George Washington comes back, they can all get screwed. Okay? But all these alternate realities we live in, they're trying to push at us. All this distraction. And the reason why it's so obvious to me, like I say, I live here in flyover country, very small populated area where we're all independent. And I'm outside the bubble looking in. You know, leave it to Beaverland. I don't have to lock my doors. I don't have to take the keys out of my vehicle. Okay? If you're a stranger here, you're noticed. And I'm on the outside looking in. And if I could just coax some people out of that fucking bubble, enough people out of that bubble, maybe we can fix the problem. Maybe we can pop that bubble. And then everybody, boom, fall out of that bubble and realize and see who the real enemy is and see the real reality. The real reality that's going to affect all of us equally. No matter if you're Democrat, Republican, middle class, or poor, you know, the ones that are going to fare the best are the ones that are homeless now. It'll just be another day for them, probably easier then. You know, and the ones that are really going to hurt are the ones that are totally dependent on the system, have no skills, lived in their alternate reality where everything was always going to be just like it was yesterday. But let me tell you something. Go back 10 years ago. Okay, tomorrow sure looks a lot different than yesterday did, doesn't it? Things never have got better. I've been on YouTube for 2.5 years. Things have not gotten better. So anyway, that's the reality we're all going to have to deal with. And we all got to deal with reality like the COVID shot, right? The COVID pandemic. Now COVID has a black label. Vaccine has a black label on it saying it's dangerous. They still ain't saying what's dangerous about. It just has a black label, right? I got a channel canceled because I was trying to warn people. Don't take it. Don't take it. It's bad. Your immune system can handle it. And now these people that took it and they're, you know, I know people that were injured because of the vaccine. I know people that have died because of the vaccine. Strokes, heart problems, blood clots. We tried warning them, but we got silenced. because they wanted to push their reality. Like I say, the reality is about the whole COVID shit. Look at the 10 principles of the Nuremberg Code. Any one of the principles broken in the Nuremberg Code is a crimes against humanity. If we enforced that, well, maybe, the test results would be given up. But anyway, the reality was they want to shut us up because we were telling them what was real. And they want to push their narrative. And like I say, our 1947, after World War II, they tried to sit there and pass something internationally to protect all people of the world from medical tyranny because of the Nazis. That's one thing about our past generations. Like the Declaration of the Constitution and Bill of Rights was written by a people to protect future generations from government tyranny. And they still didn't protect us. We still deal with government tyranny. People in the past have tried to make it so we were safer. But the only way to make it safer is that those documents of the past are enforced on all people. Anyway, but then again, that would instigate reality. Like I say, look up the Nuremberg Code. And then think about, especially if you were forced to take the vaccine, you should have legal action. People need to go to, crimes against humanity. I just love how the COVID thing is. It's a man-made disease. But no man ever went to jail for making that disease now, did they? He doesn't realize he's muted. What the hell happened? Did they mute me? Can I have a 5x5? What the hell happened? I'm not muted, guys. So if you're not hearing me, anyway, I guess it's time for me to go. I'm not muted. Okay? Hey, let me tell you what. I got some content I can do that I'm going to do over that YouTube completely shut my live stream down. And make it like it never happened. You're here, you're loud and clear. Yeah, man, you're still muted. Whatever. Must be a troll. That's the thing. These trolls are going to deal with reality one day too, right? And oh my God, can you imagine your reality is sitting in your mama's basement on your computer, harassing content creators in between watching your porn channels? Imagine what kind of life that is. And then when you got to deal with reality coming down your street. Don't worry. They'll remember me. I'll be their last thought. Be like, that crazy ass Marine was right. Anyway, they're childs anyway. What do you do? They're just messing with you. Can you loud and clear? Yep. Patriot Watcher 1. Like the name. I like the name. Yeah, I know I get messed with a lot. So sometimes react to it, but it doesn't stop me. Like I said, I've been on YouTube on this channel for over a year now, and I tell you what, you put yourself out there, and I get so many insults. My God, it's like, and the thing is, right? We grew up in an age where sticks and stones will break your bones, words will never hurt you. And then, that's the way we grew up, no matter getting teased or what. And then I went in the Marine Corps. Do you think I had a lot of nice things said to me there? And then you get these stupid trolls out here that didn't even graduate kindergarten, basically. When they get up to maybe a 6th grade level, anyway, they expect that to bother me. I feel pity for them. Because when, like I say, reality comes to them and hits them in the face, they're the ones that aren't going to be able to, react to it. Not everybody's a trained combat Marine who's trained and experienced to handle stuff that's coming our way. But whatever. I can handle my own. I'm just trying to get people together and realize the truth so they can be able to react to what's coming. So, anyway, like I say, if you're used to having the best of everything and having lots of money, well, your status quo when it changes will be when money's worth nothing. Anyway, tough times coming ahead. Reality's about to set in. And whether it be World War III, Civil War, the financial crisis has to be the first thing coming. Like I say, eventually gold and silver is going to get so high where the credit markets are going to freeze up because they're going to demand something other than money for collateral. And that's when the average American's going to feel it. That's when the whole world's going to feel it. Because the whole world, most of it lives on credit. And the ones of us that don't, well, we may look poor now. But there'll be a time where people like me will be envied because our resilience, our skills, and our ability to adapt. Okay? So, anyway, appreciate everybody being here. I've been rambling on. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to have a live stream on Saturday. I think I'm going to take tomorrow night off. But you people are welcome to come in. I'm going to have an interesting live stream on Saturday, kind of a paranormal thing. Are we a penal planet? Have human beings been around the universe for a lot longer than they said we have? Were we actually traveling the stars at one time? And we're such a ruthless, despicable people spreading hate and discontent that we were finally put on this planet and dumbed down. I don't know. Someone's got to explain the behavior of human beings because, no intelligent culture is going to come down here and corrupt their culture with, well, like I say, we think men can get pregnant now. Need I say any more? Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. Check out my other content. Share it if you like. And hit that thumbs up, that subscribe, and the bell notification. And smile your way through the day. Anyway, this is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.